person who declared the results was not a returning officer, was not the right person who declared the results. And also, the EC collated only 146 out of 148 polling station results. That means that EC did not have the full complement of the results to declare for whoever that won. That was Ibi Bright. And so the court says declaration, collation, and declaration should be done again, and that should be done on or before the 6th of January. We know that on 7th January, there's going to be the swearing-in of the new administration, including MPs, and the courts wants that to be done so that by 7th, there'll be a full complement of who is going to Parliament, as well as the President-elect John Dramani Mahama. My colleague Alfred Okanse is here with me in the studio for more on this. Alfred, what does this mean to all of the conflict or uncertainty we've had since all of these issues started?
Great. So we're back to the status quo, square one, because if you recall what happened at the Electoral Commission's that's Greater Accra Regional Office almost 2 weeks ago when Charles Forson was declared as MP-elect is the same process that the court is asking that the EC goes back to do. The EC did the collation or recollation in the Tema Central constituency and then now declared Charles Forson as MP-elect. It was that particular act that Nelson Dafiamekwa, who is a lawyer for Ibi Bright, was contesting because the court had previously given an order that they should now go back and then do either start from where they left off or start the entire process of recollation. That's what Dafiamekwa was contesting, that the court was quite clear that instead of the regional officer of the Electoral Commission for Tema indicating that they were going to start off from where they left off. That is just the 2 polling stations that were left. He would rather they go through the entire process of recollation.
From the top.
That was the contention. Now, with what has happened today, the court is essentially saying that those 2 polling stations that were not collated and added to the original declaration, 146, but there are 148.
So the 2 that were not added to the 146,
to make up the total number of polling stations in the Tema Central constituency. Now, what we're going to see in the coming days, because by January 6th, the court says by January 6th, that collation should have been done for the 2 polling stations and then added to the 146 that was used to declare Ibi Bright as MP-elect. Now, by end of January 6th, we'll get to know, and it is crucial. Why? Because the 9th Parliament will be sworn in on the dawn of January 7th. And so if this declaration for Tema Central is done on January 6th, all things being equal, the Electoral Commission now would have to go through the process of gazetting whoever is declared as the MP-elect after the 2 polling stations are added in Tema Central, for the person to go through the registration process and be sworn in as part of the MPs for the 9th Parliament on the dawn of January 7th. So that's one area to look at as well. But we would have to backtrack to understand why these 2 polling station results were not even added to the 146 that was used to declare Ibi Bright as MP-elect. If you recall, during the elections, in fact, after the 7th of January, after polls closed at 5 p.m., there was some misunderstanding in the Tema Central constituency where the Electoral Commission was attempting to transport some ballot boxes using a private vehicle instead of the official vehicle of the Electoral Commission. So you had the NDC supporters there contesting that particular move by the AEC. Eventually, there was some understanding. They got a taxi, and then they transported the boxes because they said they could rather trust the taxi driver, you know, than a private vehicle, which was not even registered for that matter. Now, fast forward, on the 9th of December, we saw some thick crowd of supporters of the NDC who, together with the MPP as well, we understand, who thronged the Coalition Center. And as a result, the Tema Central returning officer indicated that he cannot declare the results because his life was being threatened or in danger. So he had to take the Tema West constituency returning officer to declare Ibi Bright as MP-elect in the Tema Central constituency. And this was done at the Regional Police Command. Because of the misunderstanding, they moved the entire collation process to the Regional Police Command. And that is where the Tema West returning officer declared Ebi Bright as MP-elect.
And that is one of the reasons the High Court stated in making their judgment that the right returning officer did not declare the results in that constituency. And for that matter, they cannot uphold that Ebi Bright won the election. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it is also good to, and that's why I was making the point about how this Tema West constituency returning officer was the one who declared Ebi Bright as MP-elect, because the Tema Central constituency returning officer says, you know what, because of all the things that were happening there and he receiving threats, he was not in the position and right frame of mind to declare. And so he left. We understand he even left the collation center. The Tema West returning officer was the one then who was called upon to declare based on the 146 constituency, that's the polling station results, Ebi Bright as MP-elect. The two polling station results, according to Nelson Ross in Dafianko, the contention was that there was some discrepancy with the recording of the results on those two polling stations, that's pink sheets. And so they were contesting that. So they went into court today with the video evidence of the Electoral Commission, the Tema West constituency returning officer, declaring Ebi Bright as MP-elect, to the effect that, to that extent that the Electoral Commission, an officer of the commission had declared Ebi Bright as MP-elect, then that must hold, because a declaration has so-called has been made. But then the court is contesting it using the specific reference that you made. And we can now get into the rule book too that the court used, made reference to in reaching this particular ruling. Grace.
Yeah, so Alfred, the court makes a lot of cases or gives out a lot of reasons why they had to order the EC to do a recollation and declaration of the results again for the Tema Central constituency, which means as it stands now, Ebi Bright cannot hold herself as the MP-elect for that constituency. Recollation and declaration will decide whether it is Ebi Bright of the NDC or Charles Forsing, also from the NPP. The court also says that there are some 5 reasons or 5 demands that should be met before that declaration that was done earlier would be upheld. Now, it says prerogative order issued by a court, and the 5 conditions are: shows there is a duty, was there a duty performed to the nation, must be of a public nature, and demonstrate demand. Was there a demand for that duty to have been performed? Did the EC show refusal to perform that public duty? The mandamus order be granted where applicant demonstrate that he has been prejudiced. And so the EC declared only 146 out of 148 polling stations not having collated, or 148 means first condition has been met. And also the person who declared the result was not a returning officer. That point Alfred and I have been hammering since we got here. And also on demand, was there a demand for that? And this one says the EC didn't deny receiving notice. It didn't deny receiving notice of the coalition that had been made, but inaction of the EC after receiving notice constitute refusal. So the questions on the minds of some people are that, assuming that a person other than the returning officer declared the results of the presidential, would it have been lawful? Imagine if the returning officer of the presidential election, who wasn't Jen Mensah, who is Jen Mensah, did not declare the results of the presidential, would it have been lawful? And also, if the EC declared person A as president after considering 100 out of the 276 constituencies, will it be legal? So these are the arguments that the court put out there, and in reaching the decision that the EC should recollate and then redeclare the results in the Tema Central constituency, meaning that Ebi Bright cannot hold herself as MP-elect for the Tema Central constituency. The EC will have to collate all 148 polling station results and then decide whether it is Ebi Bright of the NDC or it is Charles Forsing from the NPP. But what we have on your screens now are live visuals from the High Court showing how some supporters of the two parties are waiting anxiously for the final declaration also from the Ablekuma. We know that that case is also being heard also from the Ablekuma North constituency. The supporters are giving out a lot of varied reasons on why they either support the decision by the court or they don't support the decision by the court. We can listen to some of them and then we'll come back shortly. Well, so these are live visuals from the High Court coming to you where my colleague Sisters Don Ilo is engaging some of the supporters on the first ruling that has come out saying that the EC has been ordered to recollate and then declare the results for the Tema Central constituency, meaning Ibi Bright again cannot hold herself as MP-elect for that constituency. After the recollation and declaration, the EC will decide whether it is Ibi Bright of the NDC or Charles Forson from the NPP, Alfred.
Well, so you can understand why the NDC supporters, they are not happy. And then also we got information that Ibi Bright stormed out of the courtroom, not too happy about this particular decision by the courts a few minutes ago. Here's the reason why. Because those two outstanding polling stations results were collated 2 weeks ago at the Electoral Commission's office here in the Greater Accra region. And when they added those two to the 146 polling station results that were used to declare Ibi Bright as MP elect.
All right, Alfred, so I'll have you hold on that. Let's connect with Sistus. He's speaking with some of the supporters, and then we can get to hear what they've been telling him. With Sisters, if you just tuned in, the breaking news coming from the High Court is that the EC has been ordered to recollate and then declare. Okay, let's listen to Sisters now.
Yes, we are still here, Grace, at the High Court complex, and I have the NPP Regional Secretary with me, Mr. Parker. The first one that we are hearing from the court, inside the courtroom, regarding Tema Central, it seems to be good for you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity, and let me first take the opportunity to greet all viewers. As I'm standing here, I'm communicating with one of our lawyers in there, and I speak to you. All the four has been declared that the EC should go ahead to do the declaration and collation, and then the EC, the police should provide them with armed security to ensure that the declaration is done. So it is all the four, not one. The Tema Central came in first. So we informed our people about the Tema one. But just as I'm speaking to you, we have one of our council in there who has given me information that all the four has been done. And so there should be a declaration as directed by the judge.
And they have spoken about Ablekuma North.
They've spoken about all the four. It's not only Ablekuma North. We have Ablekuma North, Okaikwei Central, Techiman South, and then we have Okaikwei Central. So it is all the four as I speak to you.
But the court is still in session.
Court is still in session. Definitely when they make that declaration, they still have to sit and then compile their documents. So that is what...
It's a judgment that is being given. And the moment it is given, it means that there's nothing left to be done in court. The court would vacate. Is that not it?
Well, like I'm saying, I have one of the lawyers in there who is communicating with me. So you are here, I'm here. We will definitely... they will be coming out very soon. You know, it takes time. You just don't wake up when judgment is given. They will compile some of their documents before they leave. So that is what they are doing in there. But as I'm speaking to you, I have it with me that all the four has been, the judge has granted that they should go back and then do the needful. The EC should go back and do the needful.
Well, we can agree on one, which is Tema Central. The reporter we have in there has told us that that has already been decided upon by the court, and we know that Ablekuma North is underway. So we will wait on the reporter to update us on that. In the meantime, we can say that congratulations on Tema Central.
Well, I will expect you to congratulate me on all the three in Greater Accra, because I have the greatest share in Accra. You have Okaikwei Central, Ablekuma North, and so congratulate me on all the three.
When we get there, But why were you so convinced that you needed this recollation done?
Yeah, we have friends in the NDC. The NDC, we have a lot of them in there who are friends. We talk behind the scene. Most of their regional executives are my friends, close friends. We talk behind the scene. The NDC is aware that, yes, we've won the seats. They have won many of the seats. We're giving it to them. Right, we're giving it to them. We didn't fight over it. Why? What is their interest? Okaikwei Central. Why? How do you expect that when a police station of 141 people, 141 police stations goes to vote, you ask that it is only 111 that should be 110 that should be used to be declared? It doesn't happen anywhere. It doesn't mean you are disenfranchising the others. No, it is not done anywhere. So the truth is that the right thing will be done, the coalition will be done, and whoever will win will be given to them.
So you are prepared to accept the results following the recollation?
We have our pink sheets, and we've collated it before coming.
And you are sure that all 4 are going your way?
For the MPP.
But if the recollation is done and it doesn't go your way, will there be another case?
There's no way it won't go our way, because the NDC even know that it is for us.
It's going your way. All right. So congratulations. We will wait to hear the final outcome from the court. As we speak now, as we speak now, Grace, we know per the reports that we are getting from our people inside the courtroom, Tema Central, we are sure, has been ordered. The court has ordered a recollation. We know that Ablekuma North, the court is still on that case as we speak. And as and when we get the updates, we will share. What the regional secretary of the NPP says is that they have a person inside who tells them that all 4 decision has been rendered on all 4 constituencies. We don't have that, and we cannot confirm that. What we can confirm is Tema Central for now, and we'll get you the rest of the updates. And we have the communication secretary for Bono East, communication officer for the NDC. What's your name?
Suleiman Mohammed Mustafa.
Suleiman Mohammed Mustafa, you are talking about Techiman South. What is the challenge with Techiman South? This is the second time running that Christopher is having a serious challenge getting into parliament.
Yes. It's as simple. After election, coalition was done and declaration was made. And the MPP filed mandamus. But on Wednesday, when they came, the sort of submission they were doing as if they've done an election petition, because they came without any evidence that shows that there was no coalition and there was no declaration. They couldn't also prove.
No, but we know that on the argument that the NPP was running or attempting to smuggle an election petition into the court through a mandamus was shut down by the court. The court disagreed, overruled, and the party agreed to move on from there.
Exactly so. So how do you win such a case? If the major evidence that you provided, the court shut it down, then went ahead, you couldn't provide any evidence. You couldn't adduce a scintilla of evidence that purports to say that there was no coalition, hence there was no declaration. For that matter, let's go and do recoalition declaration. So we believe, as you said, we also have our men, including our PC, who is giving us an up-to-date information. As my brother, who is the secretary for MPP in the region, is mentioning that 4 constituencies have been declared. It's not so. It is only Tema Central. And without they mentioned that you should go and do what? Recoalition for 2 polling stations. Yes, for that of Techiman South, the court hasn't finished it, and we have the belief that that of Techiman South, since on Wednesday they couldn't adduce any evidence to the mandamus, definitely there is going to be what? A declaration that Dr. Christopher Basinti Bayere, Esquire, has won the elections for Techiman South.
So you are confident that this time around Christopher is going to get into parliament?
Exactly so.
Thank you so much. So as I mentioned earlier, Grace, what we have now, what we can confirm, independently confirm, is that the court has ordered a recollation of the Tema Central results. As for the rest of the 3 other constituencies, we wait to see.
Sisters Don Ulo Aman there in the High Court, bringing us the latest on that. So Sisters is joining us again. He is engaging another supporter. Sisters, if you can hear me, talk to us about the mood there in front of the High Court.
Well, there's I don't know whether to describe it as jubilation for the NPP or confusion generally, because as you have heard, I've spoken with the regional secretary of the NPP, who insists that they have information that all 4 have been ordered in their favor. We don't have that yet, but that is giving a lot of hope to the NPP people out here. So we wait to see. The NPP side, the NDC side also maintains that, as we have reported, only Tema Central has been ordered a recollation to be done, and that is what we can also confirm. And so, as it stands now, we are waiting for the court to rise, finish with the other 3, rise, then we can give you the rest. But NPP side is convinced that all is well. They are good to go. They've started singing their anthems and their songs, and they are jubilating already. The NDC side is still waiting for the court to pronounce on the rest of the other 3.
After the declaration, Ibi Bright walked out of the courtroom. Have you sighted her around, or any members from her team, her legal team? Well, it appears sisters we are not able to connect with him again, but we'll do that subsequently and then bring you a lot more from the happenings there at the Accra High Court. Okay.
Yes, Grace, we know that immediately after the court pronounced on the Tema Central one, Ibi Bright walked out of the courtroom visibly upset, not excited at all. We are here to speak with her. We are here to engage her to see what her options are. But I can tell you that she's not at all happy with the decision that the court has made today.
All right, sisters, thank you for those updates. Alfred, there's another one coming in on the Ablekuma North constituency, and it says that the High Court has ordered the Electoral Commission to collate and declare results of outstanding 62 polling centers in Ablekuma North, 62 polling centers in Ablekuma North, and the police is mandated to provide security. We know that the last time the returning officer in that polling station said that, in that constituency said that he's not able to declare the result because he doesn't have the full complement of the pink sheets.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, Alfred.
That's true, and you're absolutely right. So what the returning officer for the Ablekuma North indicated 2 weeks ago was that the NDC wasn't present to authenticate some 25 polling station results that the NPP had presented. Because by law, the 2 parties' representatives, either the candidates or their representatives, should be there. But then, on that particular day, the NDC wasn't present at that recollation. So this Ablekuma North returning officer says, you know what, because the NDC is not present, I'm not going to admit this 25 pink sheets that you presented out of the 62. And bear in mind that this particular constituency, a declaration had already been made. Irabna Obin of the NDC had been declared as MP-elect for Ablekuma North. And then you have an Okaikwei, who's a former MP who defeated the incumbent Sheila Bartels and contested for the MPP in this election, contesting this one. Now, what is happening now is that with the 62 outstanding polling station results in Ablekuma North, NPP has 25 soft copies of the polling station results out of 62. The NDC at the IPAC meeting says they want the hard copies because per technology, anybody can design and put together a pink sheet, soft copy, and present that. But then the Electoral Commission itself did not also have the pink sheets of the 62 that the courts have ordered now that they should go and collate. So it stands to reason how the Electoral Commission is going to maneuver this particular challenge. Because as far as we do know, based on the reports we got from the emergency IPAC meeting a little over 6 days ago, the Electoral Commission itself said they did not have the copies of those 62 pink sheets. So if now the court is saying, go and collate the 62 outstanding pink sheets and add it to the one that was used to declare Irabna Obin as MP-elect, where are they going to get that from? Are they going to now rerun the 62 polling station result? Because same as Tema Central, in Ablekuma North, there was some misunderstanding, and that led to some violence. that led to some of the pink sheets in these 62 polling stations being destroyed. Some were torn into pieces. And so the Electoral Commission did not have that. The NDC as well doesn't have copies of those pink sheets. It is the MPP that has 25 of the 62 soft copies of the pink sheets. So that's the dynamic in the Ablekuma North constituency. We'll see how things play out.
Yes, let's connect again with Sis, and then we'll tell you the reasons the court used in determining that the EC must recollate and declare results for the Ablekuma North constituency. Sisters, if you can hear me, update us on that results coming from the Ablekuma North constituency.
Yes, Grace, I mentioned that after Tema Central, the court had gone ahead to look at Ablekuma North. As we speak now, we have the decision affecting Ablekuma North, which is also another order for the Electoral Commission to recollate the votes in Ablekuma North. The decision is that there were some outstanding 62 polling station results that had not been collated, and that 62 number is significant enough from the High Court complex here in Accra that the election results for Ablekuma North, where the Madame Efriye Ekia contested, should be recollated, and this should be done with some security provided by the Inspector General of Police. That is the second one that we can confirm and we can report on.
Sisters, what has been the reaction from the supporters there, if you've been able to engage any of them, especially from that constituency?
Well, Grace, we can tell, as I mentioned, As mentioned, we have the NPP already celebrating because, like I told you earlier, according to them, they have information that all 4 of them have been ordered in their favor. The application to recollate the results has been granted in respect of all 4 constituencies. So they are going ahead to jubilate the outcome as they have it. But as I keep saying, it is these 2 that we can confirm for now.
Thank you for those updates. Let me quickly run you through the reasons that were given by the court in coming to that determination that the EC must collate the outstanding 62 polling station results and then give a final declaration. The court says that additional 54 results were collated, bringing the number to 219 out of 281 polling stations in that constituency. And there were figures of outstanding 62 polling stations that were not collated, and that has a tendency of changing the final result that were declared from the 219. And so the EC must do the recollation. The respondent's case is that the declaration is incomplete and illegal, and the EC only declared the results to ensure safety of officials, an issue which also came up in the Tema Central constituency. That was why the Tema West presiding officer read the declaration for the Tema Central constituency, determinations of conditions of mandamus, and the presiding judge, Justice Ba Forsin Ejapon, said that he deduced that not all the results of the polling stations were declared, and therefore the EC must go back and add the results of the 62 outstanding polling stations to what was already declared, and then make a final determination on whether it will be a Rabina Orban of the NDC or a Kia Efriye also from the NPP. Alfred, 62 polling stations. Yeah. That is quite a number of votes you should be talking about, shouldn't we?
Indeed, quite a number. But for me, as I indicated earlier, unless the Electoral Commission comes up with a different narrative, what we do know, at least based on what they had told the political parties at the just ended the IPAC, emergency IPAC meeting about 6 days ago, was that they did not even have copies of the 62 polling station results because they were destroyed. Yeah. Because of the violence. We have videos of some of them being torn apart.
But let's also mention that also at the same question that some polling station ballots and papers were burned.
Absolutely. So that stands to reason, and you're spot on this, Grace.
Yes.
That stands to reason that if the Electoral Commission does not have copies of this 62 polling stations pink sheets because they were destroyed, but the NPP has 25 soft copies. The NDC has none. And the ballot boxes that were going to be now another reference point for this entire process have been destroyed by the fire outbreak.
Yes.
Then what happens next? That's a big question that we're going to have to wait in the coming days to see what the Electoral Commission will do. We'll be finding out whether there's a timeline for the 62 polling stations collation to be done. If the courts give a timeline, because for Tema Central, they said by January 6th.
On or by January 6th.
Or by January 6th. But this one, we don't know if the timeline has been given. Because if you take into consideration all the challenges at play, it would be practically impossible for the Electoral Commission to, by Monday, which is January 6th, do a collation of 62 polling stations that they said they don't have the pink sheets of. Are they going to rely on the 25 soft copies of the pink sheet by the NPP, which the NDC says they are not going to allow? So maybe Codeo is making that proposal. Rerun the elections in these 62 polling stations, because there's no way the MDC would admit the NPP's soft copies. 25.
They don't even have the full 62.
It's not more than half of the 62. If you have 31, you know, this is less than half of the 62, 25 of them. And the judge, in making this particular ruling or this judgment, indicated that the results of the 62 could have material effect on the outcome of the results. And that's why he would rather it be collated and added. But the Electoral Commission, based on the safety of their officers and then also all the circumstances on that particular day in Ablekuma North, that's also on the 9th of December, declared Irabna Obin as MP-elect for that particular constituency, even though these 62 polling station results were outstanding. What we're going to see in the coming days is the Electoral Commission now, it has to tell us whether they've been able to identify or find the 62 polling station pink sheets and where did they get them? Because 6 or 7 days ago, they said they don't have them.
They didn't have it.
It had been destroyed. So if the court has given this order, what is the Electoral Commission going to do? And I want to find out as well if the EC, because they are represented in this particular case, if they had representation in court and they brought the attention of the judge to the fact that we don't have copies of this 62 pink sheets that you are asking us to go and collate. The NPP has 25. We can't rely on that. The NDC says they don't have it. So what is going to be the consequential effect of that particular order that the court has given today? And that's what I'm interested in seeing in the coming days. Grace. Yes,
Alfred. So if you just tune in, the news coming in is that the High Court has ordered the Electoral Commission to recollate and make declarations for the Tema Central constituency. The EC must now decide again whether it is going to be Ibi Bright of the NDC or Charles Forson, also of the NPP. The other constituency result that we have is that coming in for the Ablekuma North constituency. The High Court has ordered the Electoral Commission to recollate the results of some 62 polling stations and then add it to what has already been collated so that a final determination can also be made in the Ablekuma North constituency, whether it is going to go to Irabna Obin of the NDC or Okaikwei of the NPP. Time will only tell. The challenge here is that the EC has already told us it does not have all the 62 polling station results. The NPP has 25 of that. The NDC doesn't have. And so time will only tell us how that is going to pan out in that constituency. And so if you just, that is the latest coming. Let me quickly run you by the reasons the court used in determining the case for the Ablekuma North constituency. It says additional 52 results were collated in that constituency, bringing the number to 219 out of the 281 polling stations in that constituency. And the figures of the outstanding 62 could affect the outcome. Hence, it cannot be overlooked, and so the EC must get those results, recollate, add it to what they have, and then make a determination or declaration either for the NPP or for the NDC. The respondent case in this issue is that the declaration is incomplete and illegal, and the EC only declared the results to ensure safety of their officials. The termination of conditions of mandamus was also established, and that the presiding judge, Bar Forcing Japan, deduced that not all the results of the polling stations were collated. I can imagine what is going on now in the camp of Okaikwei for the NPP, as well as Rabna Orbin for the NDC. The two women went head-on with each other during the elections. After the declaration, we had press briefings from the two quarters, all making a case that, yes, they won the election because they have their own results. And then now we're coming to this point where there has to be a collation of some outstanding 62 polling station results for a final determination to be made in that context. We'll see how that one also pans out, Alfred.
Grace, and we're also getting information right now from the courts that the next case being heard is the Okaikwei Central constituency. The Okaikwei Central constituency, and look, with the way these first two cases have gone, you don't have to be a prophet to know how the Okaikwei Central constituency is going to go. But without treading on the path of sub judice,
yes, Alfred,
and determining a case before the court pronounces judgment, flowing from what's happened in Tema Central and Ablekuma North, there are 31 polling station results that were questioned in the Okaikwei Central constituency. They have 141 polling stations. Baba Sadiq was declared as MP-elect based on 110 polling station results. 11
outstanding.
In fact, 31.
31 outstanding.
The NDC raised questions about the 31 polling station results because they identified that the handwriting on the pink sheets of the 31 polling station results were the same. Which can
I remember
be the
some judge
case.
Making a case
Absolutely.
Against that.
Which can never be the case. Every police station has a returning officer assigned to it with different handwriting, unless they all use the same first copy book or, you know, that thing that we use.
Yes,
even that,
it cannot be
the same handwriting. We'll see how the courts consider this particular argument by the NDC in court. In the next few minutes, I'm sure we'll get to hear the ruling on this Okaikwei Central. But that's been the position of the NDC that, look, to the extent that the 31 polling station results had the same handwriting on the pink sheets, recording those figures. And guess what? 2 weeks ago, the Electoral Commission admitted these pink sheets with the same handwriting and redeclared Patrick Yabuama, the incumbent MP on the ticket of MPP, as MP-elect. As against what happened on December 9, when Baba Sadiq was declared MP-elect with a 110. Flowing from that precedence, if that argument is brought up in court today, that the Electoral Commission had already done a declaration 2 weeks ago, admitting this contentious
pink sheets,
and the 31 of them, then if the court says, go back and do collation and add the 31, we would know the outcome already, because that outcome has been the case 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And that's why you have the MPP rejoicing for Tema Central, because the two polling stations outstanding that the courts have now ordered that it should be collated and added had already been added 2 weeks ago. And they used that to declare Charles Forcing as MP-elect. So they know the outcome.
Yeah.
And that's why they are rejoicing for Tema Central.
Okay. Alfred, so there's a video of how the declaration was made for Ablekuma North during the first collation. Let's take a look at the refresh minds of our viewers and then we'll come back to it.
In polling stations and NPP had 27,170 and 28,151. On that note, I declare Eura Abna as the MP selected.
So that was how it was. The declaration went for Irabna Albin joined the first collation of that results from the Ablekuma North constituency without the outstanding 62 polling station results where Irabna Albin was declared MP-elect for that constituency, Alfred.
Well, so there you have it. But then if you recall, 2 weeks ago at the Electoral Commission's Greater Accra office where they were doing the recollation and redeclaration of the NPP MPs as the MPs-elect, 7 of them, if you recall. The Ablekuma North constituency returning officer said he was not going to be part of that entire exercise. He said, if the NDC is not present to authenticate the 25 pink sheets that out of the 62 that the NPP had presented, then he would rather the process is halted.
Yeah.
Now, as the court has given this order, we will see what's going to happen. Whether the Electoral Commission would probably pull up a surprise. Because as far as we do know now, and I keep making reference to the reports by the political parties themselves when they attended that IPAC meeting last 2 weeks Friday, that the Electoral Commission said they did not have the 62 polling stations pink sheets. They don't have it. So if the court says go and collate the 62 outstanding,
where are they going to get those pink sheets from?
It's a fundamental question that needs some answers going forward, you know. And that's what I was saying, probably in the same vein with the Okaikwei Central as well. You know, we will see what the court's judgment or orders will be, because if you take into consideration that position that has always been held by the NPP, the NDC, that, you know, they had issues with the 31 polling station results. But
which had the same handwriting.
But in a very interesting development, 2 weeks ago, the Electoral Commission did not see anything wrong with that. Those same handwriting on the 31 polling station. They added it and now declared Patrick Yabuama as MP-elect with some 21,000, and then Baba Sadiq, there's about 19,000, almost 20,000.
So Alfred, there's also that video there of the EC doing the declaration for the Okaikwei Central constituency. We can watch that and then get back. The EC commenting on the Ablekuma North after the declaration. So let's get that one rather, but not the re-declaration by the EC.
So, good evening to you all, and on behalf of the Commission, welcome you to this evening's press briefing. The essence is to update the good people of Ghana on the collation of election results in the Ablekuma North constituency. The Electoral Commission has taken note of misleading statements regarding its decision to temporarily halt the collation of results for the Ablekuma North constituency, scheduled to take place in the Greater Accra Regional Office today. The Commission wishes the public to note that more than any institution, it would like to bring an end to all collation in outstanding constituencies. The Commission, however, believes that this collation should be done in accordance with the legal requirements as enshrined in CI 127, which requires every political party to present 2 agents to the collation center, and directs that collation be done by the returning officer and any other officer designated by the Electoral Commission. Contrary to legal requirements, what is currently transpiring is that political party supporters have besieged some collation centers and are threatening and physically abusing our staff and destroying property. In addition to that, these supporters of the political parties are ordering our staff under duress to declare results that are not reflected on the pink sheets. Our staff have indicated that despite the security presence, they feel extremely unsafe. The Commission is desirous of upholding the laws that govern its operations, and it is for that reason that the Commission has ordered that collation in Ablekuma North be halted temporarily until the proper legal and security structures are restored. Evidence of these threats in other collation centers have been rife on TV and radio, which show images of party supporters burning and vandalizing property, destroying ballot papers and pink sheets, and physically abusing our staff. This has happened in Kwabenya, Okaikwei Central, and Tema Central constituencies.
So the EC Samuel Tete there bringing us update. That was a video of him some weeks ago on the EC commenting on the issues that came out from the recollation and how party supporters as well as party members had besieged some of the collation centers and all the impact that has had on declaration and also the safety of EC officials. So a refresher for you, if you just tuned in, we're bringing you the ruling from the High Court on some disputed constituencies after the December 7 elections. The High Court has ordered the Electoral Commission to collate results from 2 polling stations for the Tema Central constituency and then make a determination whether it is going to be Bright of the NDC or Charles Forson, also from the NPP. We also have a declaration from the Ablekuma North constituency. The High Court says the EC must add or recollate results from 62 outstanding polling stations, add that to what it already has, and then also declare whether it is going to be a Okaikwei of the NPP or Irabna Albin also from the NDC. We're awaiting results from the Okaikwei Central constituency. We know that one is underway, and when it comes in, we'll connect with our man from the High Court, Sister Don Ulo, who has been bringing us all the updates as well as reactions from the 2 parties and the supporters who have thronged the High Court to listen to their determination and declaration so far. Alfred.
Yes, indeed. And so let's look at the Okaikwei Central constituency and the matters in there. And Grace, we understand the judgment on the Okaikwei Central has just come through, so you're going to take that for us. But this is it. The flow of events in Okaikwei Central, as we do know it and as we do have, is going to be on the screen right now. As we do know, the NDC candidate Baba Sadiq was declared as MP-elect based on the 110 polling station results. The Electoral Commission, as we heard in that press conference, set that aside, indicating that it didn't follow due process. And then also the court ordered, and let's put that on the screen right now, the court ordered the Electoral Commission to complete the process. And then also now we saw that process being completed. And then now this matter being sent to court. The Supreme Court last week set aside the High Court orders and the recollation. Grace, there's some breaking news coming in.
Yes, Alfred. So let's watch the initial declaration that was and how it was done for Okaikwei Central. And then we can tell you a decision of the court on this matter just as it came in.
Okaikwei Central constituency. Patrick Yabuama had 14,949. Abu Baba Abdullah Sadiq had 15,383. Total valid votes is 30,332. Rejected ballot is 130. Total vote cast 30,462. So from this election, this represents 78% of the election held at Okaikwei Central. So from this result, Baba Sadiq has been elected Member of Parliament for Okaikwei Central. Thank you.
So that was how the declaration was made, where Baba Sadiq of the NDC was declared MP-elect for the Okaikwei Central constituency. Let us now go back to the High Court and connect with Sister Don Ilo. He has the latest on the Okaikwei constituency. Sisters, update us on what the ruling has been for the Okaikwei constituency. All right.
We have another order in, Grace, as we speak right now from the High Court complex, Okaikwei Central. There's another order by the High Court for the results to be collated. And the reason is that there are some outstanding 31 polling station results which were not part of the initial results that had been declared. And so the court is ordering station results also be collated so that they can have a totality of the results for Baba Sadiq and Patrick Boama, lawyer, who are also taking it out on each other there. And so that is the latest one we have from the High Court complex. Remember, there are 4 in all. We have looked at Tema Central, where the court has ordered recollation of the results. There's also Ablekuma North, where the court has ordered recollation of the results. And the third one we have now is Okaikwei Central, where again the court has ordered a recollation of the results. In all of the 3 that we have, there's a standing order to the IGP to also ensure that there's adequate security to protect the officials and all stakeholders who will be involved in this recollation exercise. So the IGP has an order also from the court to ensure that there's peace, there's order, and that the processes in all 3 constituencies so far are smooth. What is outstanding now, what we are waiting to hear is the order on Techiman South, where Christopher Bayre and Minister actually for local government, Martin J. Kosa, former director of elections for the NPP, 4 years ago, these 2 gentlemen were locked up again in that particular constituency, which did not end well. If you recall, Grace, 8 people lost their lives in that particular constituency alone in the 2000 elections. In the 2020 elections, I beg your pardon. And so we have the same 2 people involved in the 2024 elections, and it doesn't also seem to be ending well, because it's gone back and forth, and now we are having the High Court grant that application by the NPP to compel the Electoral Commission to recollate the results for that constituency as well. So that is the final constituency we are waiting for, to hear what the court order would be. Apart from that, we know that in all the 3 cases that I have mentioned, Tema Central, Okaikwei Central, and Ablekuma North, the court has ordered that the Electoral Commission recollate the results in all those 3 constituencies. So we are waiting for the final constituency, which is Techiman South. Grace.
And so there you have it. The High Court has ordered the EC to do recollation of some results in the Okaikwei Central constituency and also make a determination whether it is going to be for Baba Sadiq of the NDC or Patrick Yabuama also of the NPP. And let me quickly run you by the reasons that were given by the court for coming to this determination. The court said security officers, Alfred, note this one for me. Security officers providing security advised that declaration be made after collation of 110 out of 141 to further prevent destruction of property by masked-up supporters of the NDC. And also, once that was done, supporters of Baba Sadiq withdrew in jubilation, de-escalating the situation. And again, issues for determination of mandamus was met. 3 reasons, Alfred. It is very interesting. We'll come back to explain or look at the reasons by the court. But let's go back to Sisters, who is engaging some of the supporters of the parties who are at their high courts.
Yes, so still coming to you from the High Court complex. As I mentioned, we are now waiting for a decision on the final of the 4 applications that were brought before the High Court, before His Lordship Justice Forson. What we have now, Ablekuma Central, Ablekuma North, Okaikwei Central, Tema Central, they have been given. What we have outstanding is Techiman South. But I will speak to the constituency organizer, NDC, for Ablekuma North, who wants to share some thoughts with us on the constituency. You are certainly not excited about the direction the court has taken.
Yes, I'm not happy, but I'm not surprised. Since yesterday, even right at the constituency, we had the MPP supporters giving us the verdict that will happen today. And early this morning, your reporters and the cameras are all here. They keep saying all the polling stations will be recollated. And this is exactly what has happened. And I want to put on record, we've also picked intelligence that as we speak, Bosman and Jemensa are trying to start their illegal recollation as we speak to you. It's an intelligence we've picked, and we are sending a strong warning to them.
Yes. When you say start illegal collation, court has given an order, and I'm sure that that order is going to be followed through with. At this point, there cannot be any such thing as an illegal collation following the order of the court.
Thank you, my brother. This is not the first time an high court has given this verdict. It happened the last time we went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said it was illegal, it was quashed. And I'm telling you, this ruling will also be squashed.
You will be going to the Supreme Court?
I'm telling you, our lawyers are at work. That is why.
But the court has said, the court has observed that some 52 or 62 polling station results had not been collated. I don't think you would admit that without the outcome of those 62 polling station results, you have a true, fair, and representative election result of the constituency. Would you say that?
We were at the regional collation center. The EC told us emphatically that they do not have any pink sheets in their disposal. The MPP also claimed they do not have any pink sheets. So, together with the MPP, we were able to collate 219 polling stations out of the lot in Ablekuma North. The returning officer used that to declare its results. So I don't see, that's why when you realize when the last recollation was done, they couldn't declare that of Ablekuma North. It was put on hold because there were no pink sheets. So that is why we are saying in the court's judgment, how is the next recollation going to be done? Because even the last time that they declared Tema Central to MPP, they give Okaikwei Central to MPP, they give the next one to MPP. They couldn't touch Ablekuma North. So again, I'm asking that question. How are they going to recollate in Ablekuma North?
So your argument is that as we speak now, there are no pink sheets regarding the election results in Ablekuma North?
Yes, as we speak now.
There are no pink sheets that the NDC has?
The EC has.
But the NDC has copies of the results?
We have copies.
The MPP has?
The MPP claimed that since they won at the constituency collation center, they made it openly that they do not have a single pink sheet. So we had our pink sheets, and that is what the EC also assisted with what they had. In the beginning, the EC claimed they had 165. That is what we started with at the constituency collation center. At the end of the collation of that 165 polling station, NDC was leading the MPP with over 780 votes. When we moved to the regional collation center, that is the EC office, another pink sheets were added, totaling 219. At that stage, NDC was again leading the MPP with 974 votes. The MPP, when the High Court gave an order for the recollation to go on, strangely, they pulled up 25 pink sheets. MPP claimed from day one they do not have pink sheets. But when that illegal judgment was given at the High Court, they went to the regional office.
Courts don't give illegal judgments. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Sorry, let me. That is the illegal collation that happened when they submitted that 25 pink sheets. Again, even after adding that 25 pink sheets, NDC was still leading them. So at every stage of the collation, we've had 3 stages of collation. NDC, Ablekuma North, Honorable Rabna Obin, at every stage is leading that collation.
Okay, so let's go back. At the collation that you had, the initial collation that you had, how many polling stations do you have in all?
In all, 281.
How many were collated?
So far, we've collated 219.
So you don't have the full complement of the constituency results?
Exactly.
At the party level, have you been able to collate the full complement of the election results?
Yes.
From all the polling stations?
Yes, we had all the collation from the polling station, but there was confusion at the collation center.
No, I'm talking about the party level. I'm sure you had your own collation that you did. At the NDC level, you had your own independent collation you did. Did you get the results for all the polling stations in the constituency?
Got the results of all the polling stations before moving to the constituency collation center. And emphatically, I can tell you, we were leading the MPP with over 300 votes.
That was after you collated all the polling stations. So you have the full complement. So the outstanding 62 polling stations that the court refers to, you have results for that.
That's what I was trying to explain. When we got to the collation center, there were some confusion. So we lost our pink sheet, EC lost their pink sheet, MPP equally lost their pink sheet. So as we speak, none of us can claim having the total complement. But in the case of NDC, I can tell you authoritatively, we have over 250 pink sheets at our disposal. EC claims they do not have even one pink sheet. MPP claims they do not have even one pink sheet. And let me tell you this. At the start of collation at the constituency office, 30 minutes into the collation, surprisingly, the municipal director of EC smuggled in together with the municipal chief executive of Ablekuma North, by name Mr. Bella. They smuggled 2 parliamentary pink sheets from his underwear, and then he brought it and placed it onto.
But you were there.
We were there. I got it red-handedly.
So in your presence, they smuggled in something.
Yes.
And you did nothing about it.
Brother, I took the pink sheets up. When I took the pink sheets in that collation room, we had over 20 policemen in there. We have the media, your sister station, GTV, Onia TV. They were all there. When I took it, I told we had 2 commissioners of police in there. I told them to arrest the district municipal EC officer. They failed to arrest him. They said once I have intercepted it and it is not gone into the collation, then we can let it go. And I'm telling you, those 2 polling stations, when you add the numbers up, MPP were leading NDC with 490 votes. So right from coming into the coalition, MPP knew they've lost the election. My brother, let me give you an history of Ablekuma North. The last elections, MPP won with the difference of 24,000. 24,000 votes. That is what MPP won the last 2020 election. That is the difference they won in Ablekuma North. Today, MPP is claiming they've won with a little over 400 votes. Look at these thieves. But I'm telling you, whatever decision.
Some strong words there. So the point is that the biggest concern you have raised now is your wonder how the EC is going to recollate. How do you think that is going to happen?
That is why I gave you my word that even with the last recollation that they tried doing on the 20th, they set Ablekuma North aside. They declared
because you don't have the pink sheet.
So I don't know the basis. The court has also given another directive for a recollation. So we will.
But I'm sure that between then and now, you've had a series of meetings as constituency executives, and you have decided which way to go should the court order a recollation. What direction are we looking at?
is Don Ilo, my colleague at the High Court, speaking to some supporters or executives of the NDC on the ruling that just came for the Ablekuma North constituency, where the court has ordered the Electoral Commission to collate the result of some 62 outstanding polling stations and then add it to what it has and then make a declaration in that constituency. We also know the result for Techiman South has just come in. There's a video of how chaos erupted during the first declaration. Let's look at that and then we'll tell you what the court is saying about Techiman South constituency. So, Alfred, the ruling from the High Court on Techiman South is that the Electoral Commission has been ordered to collate and declare results of 147 outstanding polling stations in Techiman South, also on or before January 6th. 147 outstanding polling stations in Techiman South on or before January 6th. Alfred, what do we know about the Techiman South constituency before the December 7 elections and even after declaration was made in that area?
Well, the video that we just saw, there's a history to it. This constituency in 2020 recorded the death of some persons as a result of violence that characterized the parliamentary elections declaration in that same Techiman South constituency. You'll recall that that was one of the constituencies that had their results delayed a bit in 2020. It came through after 2-3 days because of the violence that led to the death of people. That hasn't been also accounted for as we speak. As we speak now, no persons have been arrested because of that particular, the killing of these people in Techiman South. Now, going into this election, with that history in mind, you had the NDC consistently making that position clear that they were not going to sit to have what happened in 2020 repeat itself. Because in their minds, but for the violence, maybe they would have won Techiman South. But with what we saw as well, the violence was not only at the collation center. What is on the screen right now is the constituency collation center where the ballot papers, the papers you see on the floor are ballot papers that were destroyed by the angry supporters. You see them holding the NDC flag there. And then they moved the coalition process to the Divisional Police Command. And then their supporters, so you see what you're seeing there, the Techiman South Police Command there. In fact, this is in the Bono East region. When this violence incident took place, that led to the declaration by the
Alfred, let's connect with Sistus, and then we'll come back to that Techiman South history. Sisters, if you can hear us, talk to us about the declaration or the results from the court on the Techiman South constituency.
The full complement of the orders of the High Court regarding the final one, the Techiman South constituency. We know that the court has ordered also a recollation of the results of the Techiman South constituency as well. In your shots now, you can see the lawyers heading out, and of course, security is tight. Security is tight. I can see former Attorney General Mariata Bruapiaopong walking out. Just right behind her, I see Dominic Ayene, former Deputy Attorney. I see Joyce Bauer, who spoke for then candidate Mahama, a host of other lawyers who are coming out of the courtroom now. We are still waiting to see the candidate, the parties themselves, the people who brought these applications to court. And also, you can hear singing has erupted. We can now confirm authoritatively that the High Court has ordered that all coalition in all 4 constituencies be done for the constituencies. We will try to speak to some of the people who came in this matter. Let me just try to speak with Ebi Bright and some of the lawyer Dafiemapo is speaking.
The evidence before the court in respect of Tema Central, uncontroverted, was that it was not the case that, as alleged by the applicant, that there was no collation. Indeed, there was a collation and a declaration, but that out of 148 pink sheets, 146 were collated, save 2 that the NDC opposed. Now, we opposed those 2 pink sheets on grounds that they were fabricated after the close of polls on December 7th at 5 p.m. Now, we invited the presiding officers in respect of those 2 polling stations. They came to admit that when the polls closed, they were tired, they were exhausted. So they brought the pink sheets to the office of the EC, and they were instructed by their EC Metro director to complete them. How do you complete a pink sheet in the office of the EC after polls have closed?
Were you giving copies of these?
They gave us a duplicate. The duplicates, therefore, the duplicates that we had, the pink sheets in dispute. I want everybody to appreciate this matter today. The 2 pink sheets in dispute in Tema Central, the duplicates that we have, that was how I was able to detect it. The duplicate did not contain the information contained on the original that the EC was urging upon us to approve. Why? The duplicates that we have did not have the name of the presiding officer, his signature, the year of the elections, and the time of close of polls at the polling station, and date. That is the year of the election. That's the date. This was a requirement in pursuance of Regulation 43 of CI 127 and Regulation 3923 of CI 127.
You have a right.
Hold on. So we disputed, and they were insisting that it should be admitted. This was what generated the entire controversy. Today, so if the court says, in view of all this, by a mandamus application, go and collect it, do you think me, the farmer, I will agree that those 2 pink sheets be collated when they are in dispute? No. It is not a mandamus that will correct it. It is a full-blown trial, so that the person who deposed to affidavit that the pink sheets were in dispute, who will be put on the stand. Then I'll cross-examine him. That you have admitted that the pink sheets were completed, for instance, in your office after our agents, the polling agents of all the contestants have left. So the law does not permit you to complete pink sheets in your office and come and give to candidate to accept.
So, Honorable, obviously you disagree?
Of course we disagree.
What's the way forward?
I think we'll advise ourselves, and I'm sure by the close of the day, you know the position of the party in this matter.
You have less than 2 days to go.
Yes, I'm saying. We are working today, Saturday. Right now, where we are, tomorrow is even material as a non-working day. We can be working tomorrow. So by close of today, the party's position in this matter, you will be advised and you will know. But this is not the end.
This is Tema Central. Would you throw some more, share some views?
In fact, if we were in court, the court appears to be rehashing the same facts in respect of all the other respective constituencies. So, for instance, Techiman South, the judge mentioned 62 pink sheets, when indeed that was not the issue in respect of Techiman South. Okaikwei Central, there were not 62 pink sheets. The judge was mentioning 62 pink sheets. So why? When you write a ruling, who corrected him? Gary Numaku corrected him from the bar. Do you stand at the bar and correct the content of a judgment being delivered by a judge? You bring an application on notice for correction of judgment in terms of facts.
Couldn't it be an
It could not. It could. Please. I will not go on that path with you. I am saying that where a lawyer stands at the bar and be correcting the content of a ruling delivered by the judge, we have a problem.
All right. So yes, the decision may have been rendered. The decision may have been rendered, but there are lots and lots of concerns that remain in this matter. Grace, you can hear that. Well, all applications have been granted. All 4 applications have been granted by the court. The Electoral Commission, by the grant of this application, is compelled to recollate the results in all of the 4 constituencies that came before the court. And these would be Ablekuma North, Tema Central, Okaikwei Central, and Techiman South. But if the indication we have just picked up from the Honorable Dafema Roxanne Nelson Eche is anything to go by, then it means that between today, this evening, and tomorrow, we certainly will be hearing something from the NDC regards the decision that has been rendered by the High Court today. And so, as we speak now, the High Court may have been done with its job, but the parties certainly are not done. Grace.
This is John Ulo, my colleague there, bringing us those updates from the Accra High Court. Let's go back to him. He has more for us.
And we have heard them speak on this. I have Dr. Computer Tanko, who also wants to speak more on this matter. The Honorable Roxanne Nelson Eche Dafiamekwa has already told us that we should be expecting some response from the party, which most likely will depart from what we have seen today. Is that the same impression I'm getting from you?
Let me put it on record. They have brought a bucket full of lies and pour it in front of the judge. And he also succumbed to those lies, packed of lies, bucket full of lies. Told them a story that happened, and those stories were not cross-examined. It didn't lie in his purview. Because you know what justice means, natural justice means. Somebody has come to tell you a pack of lies. This thing happened. And yet those people were not cross-examined by anybody. And he ruled in favor of those lies. You allow us, you think that we are going to allow this to stand?
Is it your position that in this case also, in today's, in the process leading to the judgment today also, your party was not duly heard?
We were heard on an issue of mandamus. We were not heard on the substantive issue of what transpired at the collation center. It has nothing to do with that. The writ and the affidavit attached to it, if they were asking us to now come and defend on the issues, we would have asked them to come and we'll cross-examine them.
Is that not changing the case into a full election petition?
That is what he has done. He has ruled based on the full-blown of the matter. So why should we expect as a party, NDC, to allow this kind of charade to continue? We are not going to accept it. We have filed a process. Nobody is going to do any collation whatsoever at that place. We are telling them we will not accept it. We are going to resist it. With all the legal powers that we have, we are going to resist it. We have done the processes, and we are telling them the EC, they should stop being lawless. If they do anything lawless against this, we will come after them.
Well, 2 important voices in the NDC that you have heard. Dr. Rashid Tanko, Computer. He has also just reiterated practically, basically, what the Honorable Dafiamekwa has said, that the party is not taking what has happened. Well, the court has spoken, but they disagree, and they will not take it lying down, as the expression goes. They will, of course, file some processes on this matter and ensure that it is changed. Well, the indication I'm getting from both voices is that this was an election petition that was heard and not an application to compel a public officer to do his or her duty. That is the argument that the NDC side is making. We want to pick some voices from the NPP side as well, so that we see what the position from the NPP side would be. But I can see the candidate for Okaikwei Central on the ticket of the NDC, Mr. Baba Sadiq, who is coming out, and we'll just try to have some word first with a lawyer for director of legal for the NDC. I am picking a lot of dissatisfaction from your side on the decision of the court today. Some of your people are saying this has become an election petition that has been heard and not a mandamus application. Director of Legal Affairs, what is the direction of the party going forward? Order has been made, and you know, I know, that it becomes an order until you take an action. So what is the action that we are expecting from the NDC going forward?
Council, you've heard the decision of the court. What is your initial reaction?
Oh, like I said in court, you can only oblige what the judge has said. But I must say that it is something that we anticipated. So we came to court prepared with our notices of appeal. And as you can see, immediately the judgment was read, we ran to the registry of the court to file the respective notices of appeal in respect of the 4 affected constituencies, as you can see. So with us here is the notice of appeal and the subsequent stay application. It is something that we knew was going to happen. With the ruling on the prelim, it was clear where the judge was going. And so we took preemptive steps to do what is needful. So I can tell you, and as you can confirm here, we have the respective notices of appeal, we have them here, and we'll take steps right now to get them, you know, the legal requirement. The order must be served on the Electoral Commission before they can proceed. And like my lord said, they are now working on the order. We have our stay application, we have the notice of appeal, and we take steps. This matter is not ending here, and let nobody be deceived. This matter cannot end here, because you see, the matters raised, and if you are in court, it was as though my lord was hearing an election petition. This is a mandamus application, for Christ's sake, and that is all that I will say. So we'll take all the steps.
But time is also running out. Time is running out. How are you dealing with the issue of time?
No, first of all, the court itself said because of the election and the nature, expeditious trial will be permitted. And we have taken steps timeously. Look at the time the judgment or the rulings were delivered, and look at the time we filed our respective notices of appeal. That is the speed with which we want to do it, and we have taken all the necessary precautions.
Thank you, Honorable. But let me speak to some of the candidates also. Let me just find out. You were initially declared winner. 2 of you were initially declared winners. And all of a sudden, things spiraled out. You've been contested. They are questioning the win. How are you feeling?
Well, there was always a very curious, collusion between the Electoral Commission and, the NPP. Very obviously in my constituency, I will speak for my constituency. So right from the beginning, we could tell that they weren't going to allow the rules to apply, that they were going to always hijack the process and make sure that we didn't have a chance to deal with evidence as it's supposed to be, which is where we see that the veiled mandamus.
All right, we were hearing from the candidates, we're hearing from Ibi Bright, and there was also Baba Sadiq there. I just wanted to know how they are feeling. It must be stressful, it must be frustrating having to go through an election, and you go through series of legal problems as we are seeing now. Well, but as you hear the candidate Ibi Bright mentioned, she suspects some collusion. Well, those are not allegations that we can independently verify or confirm. But earlier, Grace, we had some words with Gary Nimako, who is a lawyer for the NPP side, the parties on the NPP side, the people who actually brought this application to court. So let us listen to the interaction that we had with Gary as well.
Doing the right thing regardless of the noise and everything. How does this all come to you now?
Manifestation of rule of law. People have spoken. They came and said they were not heard. Now they Supreme Court. They said go and be heard. They came here, they were heard. It became very clear that the collation that they claimed was done, it wasn't done. It was not complete. So the court says, please, listen, go complete collation and declare who has won and who has lost. To me, that should end the matter. That's all.
How soon do you expect the EC to do this collation? Given that Monday.
It should be done today. It should be done today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. So that's Gary. He's a lead counsel for the NPP parliamentary candidate. Speaking after the victory.
We still have our pieces. Even though that they have destroyed, we still have the scan copy. At the end of the day, there's only one result. And the NPP has won in those 4 constituencies. No matter how long it takes, NPP has won in those constituencies. Figures are figures and it can never be changed. It can never be changed. We know the NDC are playing some antics. As I speak to you, they are preparing to file appeal and stay of execution. But we are not perturbed by it. We are not bothered by it. It is their right. But at the end of the day, the truth will always stand. Thank you very much.
From the 2 MPP functionaries also, you heard lawyer Gary Nimako, and you also heard the General Secretary Justin Kodia. Now, I want to speak to one man who, in choosing my words carefully, I would say has suffered a lot in Ghana's electoral politics. This man, in the year 2020, in the elections, he came face to face with now Minister for Local Government, Martin Eje Kosa, and it was bloody. Bloody is a kind word to use. And in the 2024 election, he's come up against the same man, and it is not looking friendly again. You must be very exhausted.
Well, I still have a lot of energy. There's still a lot of energy.
For how long?
I mean, I believe that you have to persevere. Until you win, you don't have to give up. And we will continue to persevere until we win. So there's still a lot of energy to continue.
But in the 2020 election, which you lost to Martin Eje Kosa, you disagree with my choice of words, I know. But there was a court decision on that, and we move on from there. Were there any lessons that you learned that you think could have been applied to the 2024 elections that you did not apply?
Well, let me correct you again, because it's a matter of fact. We still have a court appeal challenging the decision of the High Court in 2020.
For the 2020 election?
Yes, at the Court of Appeal. So for us, we still believe that in 2020 we won, and all our pinches are available, and all the facts. So we'll go for the appeal. We'll still pursue that matter.
But you have people who are looking up to you to come and be their member of parliament. How are you controlling these people to avoid the kind of tensions that we don't all want to see?
The truth is that when there's absolute justice, there will be peace. But where sometimes you want to treat others as better class of human, social class, and you treat others as inferior, it doesn't work. Why am I saying so? In 2020, it was explicitly clear when a team was sent to the Electoral Commission in Techiman South to give us even the summary sheet wasn't possible. They told us to go to court. That is what we are entitled to. And today, the same EC which we have, the summary sheet and the rate attached as exhibits, they are still insisting that there was no coalition. Where is the justice? Where is the fairness?
Where is the justice? Where is the fairness? This is certainly not ending anytime soon, Grace. You heard Christopher Bayre, doctor for the Techiman South constituency. it's certainly a constituency that we are watching because it's curious. It's simply disturbing. If you look at the kind of violence that we saw from that constituency, I'm sure that we all will be interested. Well, but in wrapping up, we can say that we have not seen the last of this from the NDC yet. As we have heard from the Director of Legal Affairs for the NDC, they are certainly going to be some processes coming up. We have seen copies of the processes that have already been filed, and we definitely will be expecting to hear something from them in the course of the night into the day tomorrow. Over to you, Grace.
Obviously, this will not be the last of it, as we've heard from the Director of Legal for the NDC, and he says they have already filed an application for appeal against the ruling, and so we'll see how that pans out. But if you are just tuning in, well, the declaration from the courts is indicating that the EC must do a recollation and declaration for 2 outstanding polling stations in the Tema Central constituency, added to the result it's already had, and then declare whether Ibi Bright should be the MP-elect or Charles Forson of the NPP should be the MP-elect. When you go to the Ablekuma North constituency, the High Court has also ordered the Electoral Commission to do collation for some 62 outstanding polling stations and also make a determination between the NDC's Irabana Orbin and the NPP's Okaikwei. Okaikwei Central, the court says the EC must do recollation and declaration for some 31 outstanding polling stations in that constituency and also declare whether it should be Baba Sadiq of the NDC or Patrick Yabuama of the NPP. One of them should be the MP-elect based on the result that will come out after the collation of the 31 outstanding results. And then when you go to the Techiman South constituency, the court has ordered the Electoral Commission to also do recollation and declaration for some outstanding 147 polling stations and also make a determination between the two contenders there from the NPP and also from the NDC, Alfred. So it looks like the court has brought some form of finality to this matter, but from the side of the NDC, it's not ending anytime soon.
Well, I think I treaded cautiously in not predicting this outcome, but you know what I said earlier. Yeah. So we'll see how things play out. And Mandamo's application, the obvious outcome is what we have seen. The details of what happened at the polling stations and then all the discrepancies the NDC said they saw on the pink sheets of those ones being contested can't be heard at another forum. Yeah. But this Mandamos is just compelling a public officer to do a duty that, according to the applicant, was neglected. So we'll see how the things play out. Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely see how that pans out. But that's it for us from here. Thank you for joining us. Make a date with us on News 360 for more on this ruling from the court and the reactions that are coming from the quarters of both the NDC and also the NPP. Good evening. My name is Grace Hamwach, and I've been here with Alfred Okansi. We'll see you.
No bad.
Fashion school.